So recently I've been trying to normalize my code base for this application towards getting these features and form IDs consolidated. When I go to each of these forms, then the format of the actual configuration is relatively consistent. These are just the storybook demonstrations. But if I go to each of these, then the items are all in config files, config slash inputs.ts for each of the data types. And the reason that I like to do it this way is because knowing all of the features and having them in one spot makes it a lot easier to enforce specific rules on what a feature can be. So if I look for where this is used, concept feature names, where that's used, the feature ID I'm requiring to be in the list of possible feature names. And then from there, I'm requiring that all of these actually are represented. Then for each of these for each of these feature types, feature IDs, I should say, I can know for reasonable measure that these are being used somewhere in the code base. And let's see, if I go here, let's see. So if I just comment that out, and comment this out as well. Remove that. Yeah, it demonstrates or it shows that this is not being used as a constant. And that's cool because if that ever becomes something that I don't want in the code base, then it's relatively easy for me to remove that. But I can also do a search on the actual feature name to see if it's being used anywhere else, and it's not. And theoretically, I could do a search on this string as well to see if it's being used. I can see that it's being commented out here. I'm just gonna uncomment that out, see that it's being used. And here it's throwing an error because it's no longer allowed as a feature ID. So that's another cool thing. And now I want to make these forms that are associated with these features consistent with the backend, where I'm using GraphQL to make these queries and mutations. Right now, the naming convention is off pretty noticeably, and some of these responses aren't consistent. So the backend isn't something that I've put a lot of thought into. That's something that I want to address soon. For the time being, did I change anything? I don't think I should have. Yeah, so I'm gonna go through and make this schema consistent between the front end and the back end.